All right, today we are working on 5-7, which is on page 137 in your math book. And this is estimating and dividing with greater numbers. And today we will be estimating numbers and using calculators to figure out what the actual answer will be. And we are using compatible numbers, so try to remember back about compatible numbers. If you need to, rewatch that video to just get a refresher on it. And we are just going to try a problem. So our first problem that I would like you to write down in your spiral is not a word problem. So you are so welcome. So I would like you to write down this problem. 23 divided by 3,189. So, I would like you to tell me what you would round this to, just normal. We would round it down to 20, but now using compatible numbers. Think about this too. What is close to 31 that 2 can go easily into? It can be one of two things. You can either drop it down to make it 30, or you can make it go up to be a 32. I would make it go up to be a 32 because of this 8. This 8 can tell me that can go up to a 2. It can round up to a 2, and then I just make these two zeros. So this is what I would make my problem look like if I were just estimating. So I'm going to do that on the opposite page. So I'm doing 20 divided by 32,000, or 3,200, excuse me. How many times does 20 go into 32? One time. Drop that 20 down and do our subtracting. 12. Then we go down to 120. How many times does 20 go into 120? 6. 6 times 20 is 120. 0, we got a double 0, so we can either add it up top or do it the long way and say we get the 0. So our estimated answer is 160. All right, but in your directions, in your instructions, it asks you to give the estimated answer and use a calculator to find the quotient. So we need to find the actual quotient. So in your calculator, I want you to type in 23 divided by 3,189. So go ahead and do that. But when you type it in your calculator, you always need to type in the bigger number first. So type in the 3,189 first, and then divide it by the smaller number. And you should get a number that looks like this. 138.652174. All right. In your instructions, you are going to see that they want you to round this answer to the nearest hundredth. Well, in order to round it to the nearest hundredth, you need to remember where your hundredths are. So remember at the beginning of the year, you learned that here's our decimal point. This place value is called our tenths. This one would be our hundredths. And then this one is our thousandths. And that's all we are going to go through right now. So when I ask you, or when the book asks you to round to the nearest hundredths, you take this answer and you underline where the hundredths are. So 2 places after the decimal is our hundredths. All right, but you always need to look at the thousandths, because the thousandths tell you whether or not you have to use this to round up or stay the same. So I'm not even paying attention to all these back numbers. Those are just not even important to me right now because I'm rounding to the nearest hundredth. But I do need to keep the thousands for now. So in this case, my 2 does not change my 5. It does not round my 5 up to a 6. So I'm done with the 2. So my answer would be 138.65. That would be my exact calculated answer. So if this was a quiz question, you would tell me your estimated answer, which was 160. So you would write out 160, and then you'd put a comma, and then you would say your calculated answer rounded to the nearest hundredth, which is 138.65. So let's try some more of those together. So let's try this problem together. 59 divided into 6,214. Better put my comma. All right, so let's estimate first. Let's make this 59. Is it closer to 50 or 60? Well, it's closer to 60. And then we need to say, what can this 60 or this 6 go easily into that is close to 62, that it can go evenly into? Well, the easiest one would just be changing it to 60 because we know it goes in there one time. And then we have to change the 1 and the 4 to 2 zeros. So to solve this estimated problem, we would say 60 goes into 60 one time. 1 times 60 is 60, get a 0. Now we can either do it the long way or we can just make these zeros come up so we get 100. So this is our estimated answer. Estimated answer is 100. Now in our calculator, we need to type it in the long way. And remember, you want the big number first. So we want 6,214 divided by 59. So go ahead and type that in your calculator. And you should get this exact answer of 138.652174. But I want you to round to the nearest hundredth. So remember, underline the hundredth spot. Check to see if that thousandth spot next to it will round up the 5 or keep it the same. So will this 2 do anything? Will it round up the 5 to a 6? No, it will not. So our answer would just be 138.65. So when you would write this in your quiz box, it would just look like your estimated answer of 100, put a comma, and then we would put our exact answer of 138.65. All right, we're going to try one more together, and then I will let you try these on your own. As long as you're using your compatible numbers, these should be pretty easy. But if you do need a refresher, come talk to me because I will give you that reminder. So let's try this next problem together. Okay, so this problem is 81 divided by 9,222. So what would we change our 81 to? 90 or 80? Probably just 80 because it's closer to 80. And then we have to ask ourselves, this 8, what does it go into that is close to 92? If you're looking at your multiples of 8 or your 8 facts, what is close to 92? Well, if you forgot how to do this, remember you can write out your 8 facts, which I'm going to show you on the next page. So if we write out our 8 facts to see what 8 can go into that's closest to 92, I wrote out my 8 facts over here. And remember, we're trying to get closest to 92. 96 is too big, so we should probably go with the 88. But, excuse me, let's take that back because we're trying to get to 92. So let's go to 96 because 96 is closer to 92 than 88. Actually, it's not. It is. You could do either one of these. So Mrs. Clammers was having a Clammers moment. So we want to get closest to 92. And 88 is how far away from 92? 89, 90, 91, 92. So each one are equally amount distance away from 92. 88 is 4 away from 92, and 96 is 4 away from 92 as well. So you could pick either one of these. So let's go back here. I'm going to pick the 88. So I'm going to change my 92 to 88 and change these two 2's to 2 zeros. So then I ask myself, how many times does 80 go into 88? Once. And then I have 8. Drop that down. 80 goes into 80 once. And we get 0. And then we can either drop that 0 or just plop it up. So our estimated answer would be 110. Now if I type this into my calculator for my calculated answer, I have to type in 9,222 divided into 81. And you should get an answer that looks like this. 113.851852. And remember, I'll always want you, or the directions right now want you to round to the nearest hundredth. So we need to look at the thousandth spot, which is here. Does that one make the 5 go up or stay the same? It makes it stay the same because it does not round it up. So our calculated answer would be 113.85. So now I want to have you try a couple on your own, and remember to use those compatible numbers and estimate to the nearest hundredth. And those directions of estimating to the nearest hundredth, it is in your book, so that should be a good reminder for you. So on page 134, I would like you to try problems 20, 24, and 28, please. Remember to go ahead and check those. Once I put the answers up, the correct answers, tell me if you got them right or wrong in your spiral with just by either putting a star or a slash or an X if you got it wrong. And we'll talk about the ones that you missed or that you didn't understand tomorrow in small group. So go ahead and solve those. Again, that is on page 134. And I will give you the answers, and then I will see you tomorrow, and good luck. And I know you can do this, so go ahead and give it a shot. And also remember, when you are putting the answers into the quiz questions, that you will be giving me 2 answers for every question. You're going to be giving me the estimated answer and then the calculated answer that's rounded to the nearest hundredth. So just a reminder for that. All right, get to work. Okay, so for answer 20, your estimated answer should have been 100, and your calculated answer should have been 124.13 when you round to the nearest hundredth. 24, your estimated answer should be 70. Your calculated answer should be 68.96 when rounded to the nearest hundredth. Remember, you're marking these right or wrong in your spiral, so we can talk about them today or tomorrow. And number 28, your estimated answer should have been 80, and your calculated answer should have been 75.25. So go ahead and mark those, and then we will talk about it in class today or tomorrow, or whenever I see you next.